Welcome everyone to the 332nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, June 11th, 2020. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today. And of course, we are joined with Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I think he is ready to begin today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hello, good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these series of Knowledge Seekers programs. As we have said, we ask you to come in, not to ask questions, but to put your thoughts and see how we can expand together your knowledge and your dreams, and see how we can gradually bring everything in balance and share the knowledge that we all understand, and to get rid of fears and to expand on the joys of what is to come. As in our tradition, we try to put everything at the beginning, that when we start teaching, we only get involved in sharing knowledge. As you have seen today, they are new products, which actually for the first time, one or two of them brings what we have and what we think and is appropriate to have it in as we start building what you call spaceships and MAGRAF systems, or what we call star formations. We thought we'd bring in a new dimension into it, that it becomes part of reality gradually. And you will hear what we call the products will come in, and you can listen to it, what it is. And the head of the Keshe Foundation will explain it. And following that is one of the most important events in the life of the Keshe Foundation has been that as we set up the Universal Council and the Earth Council, and the Universal Council is in so many ways the legislative part of the Keshe Foundation. that through their work, they set out the vision and what they would like to see and what is for them important. Through them and their wishes and their work, we achieved world peace over 2 years. They have issued last Thursday a new letter, which is so much to do with Corona, and on the back of it, we will see expansion in the science. The letter of the Universal Council will be read by the head of the Keshe Foundation as a what we call administrative section of the legislation. In so many ways, we stay in line with what we said and what we are doing. And after the letter, we'll explain to you what we would like to see, as already some of you have started the process. Then we go in the teaching section. And somewhere in the teaching, amongst it, some people have asked if what we read on Tuesday, the vision which was set by a young girl from Iran asking for it, what we see, which is published by the Brazilian group, will be shared. And today's teaching is not a teaching, is looking into the insight in what we will see to come. And you can put your thoughts, not questions. We won't answer any questions today. We want to see your thoughts and see how we can expand into it, that it might, what we call, be thoughts of the others, and at the same time be a channel for us to understand where humanity will go. We will extend on these more and more as the head of the Keshe Foundation, and both of them, Ella and Wang Lin, will join us gradually to build this part up, that collectively we try to bring what we call a direct and in a way direction of how we'll join the universal community. It's the job of these two ladies in time to come to go through that transition of sharing it. As somebody wrote, it's a beautiful time. At least this time we are not left on our own to go in what we do not know, and there is a guideline and there is a guidance. And in so many ways, we will stay with humanity till we see the full transition, till we see that everything is according, that the rights of the human being on this planet and universe is fully protected. And in that way, we are not worried so much about the universal community, we are worried the mistakes that the humanity will make. We are here to guide it, not to make that mistake. And in so many ways, it's the job of the, what I call the two princesses of the Keshe Foundation, to guide us through that way, through their teaching in over years to come. Would you like to start, Ella? And then we'll carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. As it is a custom up to now, as soon as we release a new product from the Keshe Foundation manufacturing, we are presenting it to you directly live in this public workshops in English. As is the case today, we have 3 beautiful products that our team in China has brought up to life. And these are the KeshGANs capturing unit for the home edition, the KeshGANs levitating moon lamp, and the KeshGANs levitating UFO speaker lamp. And I will be speaking a little bit about each of them. As you know, in the past we have released the large KeshGAN CO2 capturing unit, which was to be used for the cleanup of the environment from the CO2 from the atmosphere. And it's a large unit. It can be used outdoors in different places in the cities, in the farms. However, there was a request for a smaller version, and therefore our team, manufacturing team in China, has brought in the KeshGANs capturing unit, the home version. It practically has the same features, but at a smaller scale. It can be purchased as of today from the Keshe Foundation manufacturing store, and it will be delivered to you within 30 to 90 days from purchasing, according to the inflow of orders that we have to handle. As you see on the screen, these are the pictures of the unit. It's made out of one stacker of capturing cells and the reservoir where you have the possibility to put the salt water and to extract the GANS that is obtained afterwards. So it's basically the same principle, just that it's a portable version. You can use it in the office, you can use it at home, and you can help clean up the environment and in the same time obtain the GANSes that you need for your own project.
Can I come in, please?
Yes.
With that one, if you can go back to it, please. This unit is fully automized, which means it does the filling up and processing of the GANs. It's just plug and play. You just need to put the salt and water, and it does everything itself. It's all automatic run. And you can produce as much GANs as you like. And the process is that you can mix your GANSes. On one side, you can make your cup of one, and one side you can make cup two. You can make CH3 on one section and whatever. The mixture you want, that adds in the tank. So like if you use it for the farming, you can decide the mixture by the plates you put in the, the units. And is automatic system, which means it cleans itself up. And literally the only thing you do, you just got to make sure you got water in the tank and the electricity is connected. And the future version of this will be totally portable. You don't need any power supply. With this, if you want additional solar cell to be able to do it, it can be added to it as an extension. But the future versions will be the use of the Keshe Foundation Magra power supply, which means it never needs energy, but that'll be in the next few months when it'll be added to it. But you can ask for a solar version that you don't need to plug and play with it. The delivery on this at the moment is 14 days from the date of order. We have already shipped 2 of the larger size yesterday, and this is what you asked, what you wanted, but you can literally don't need to do anything anymore. All the inside tank is specially divided that it produces and holds. Then as long as you have the salt water in, the system will run on its own for months to come. You just need to put the water in that is safe.
You did say something there, Mr. Keshe, but maybe it's very good to mention at this time. You said if they would like to use it for farming applications, they can use a combination of their own GANSes. I mean, the combination of the place to obtain the specific GANSes. However, it's very important to mention that the GANS has to be very well washed before being used in agriculture or farming.
Yeah, it weighs only about 65 kilograms. The whole setup, you can put it anywhere. It can be used in the cities to clean up. You can put it on top of your roof to clean up CO2s and clean up your share of what you call polluting. But at the same time, you can use the GANSes for what you call cleanup or to use at home. We'll modify more, the more variation of this will be added. And in so many ways, it's a beautiful way to start. As we said, you will see new evolution in products which come from Keshe Foundation, what is actually there needed to bring the change, and brings a lot of changes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is priced at €1,000, which is Do you want to carry on with it, please?
Yes, the price is 999 euro, and the shipping cost is at 450 euro per unit to be shipped worldwide in any location in the world. So currently in the home version, we offer just one level of capturing sets, which is 1/3 of the unit we have previously released as number of levels. The second product that we have, the second and the third, they are two lamps. Just one of them is a special lamp having a speaker as well. So the Keshcans levitating moon lamp is a very modern design product which uses the magnetic levitation function to levitate the moon bulb, the moonlight, over its base. And the addition to this product is the use of the GaNS technology within the product itself. And therefore, through the light and through the GaNS technology that is used in the product itself, you will create the perfectly balanced environment fields for your home use or office use as you prefer. This product comes at the price of 199 euros, and it is with free shipping. And we do have a special edition, which is the signature edition, meaning the product will come with Mr. Kesh's signature on. And we also have the version in the UFO spaceship format. The addition to this product is that it incorporates a speaker. So the principle is the same. We have managed to bring in this modern design product with the GaNS technology. And with it, we even had the idea that it's the best product where we can listen Mr. Kesh's teachings and workshops using this product. It's a lamp, it's a speaker, and it also generates the plasmatic fields from the GaNSes to create the perfect balanced environment as well at home and in the office as you choose to use it. It comes as well with free shipping at 199 euros, and it does have also the signature edition as well. So you can choose from the website which version you would like to have. The product will come in two colors. One is gray and one is a black version. These are the current options of delivery. And these are very beautiful products. They are modern products, and I'm sure that many of you will enjoy them, especially the speaker version, when you are listening to this technology and you know that you're directly benefiting by the technology in your own home. Go ahead, Mr. Kesh.
Yeah, the beauty with this is we give you the taste of what to come. But if you put a UFO on one side and a moon on the other side of the room, you cover the whole of the house. You can cover the room and the house. This is the new innovations we're introducing fields gradually into the environment. And the way they are against within the system, it is to bring peace and to bring comfort in the house. You saw the other products which we put for outside. These kind of products will become part of the future of the Keshe Foundation. That we indirectly change the environment, change the house, change the mood of the people inside. What will be interesting to hear from you is over the next few months, when you use this system, because they are not for the first time a voice or a light. Within it, it carries the soul of the man, and within it carries the energies that we want to know how it reacts with you. How do you see yourself when it's used in the house? And how does it affect the emotion of the people in the house? How do the animals change? How do the plants grow? It's not just we put a light or a speaker, even with what we call environmental unit, which we launched 2-3 weeks ago for outside. We want to see what changes do you see with the environment, the plants, the animals. Do you get more animals around the house? The environmental enhancement unit, in conjunction with this, how do you connect? It's no use going out and trying to say we can beat Corona. It's there to creating an environment that it doesn't come into. And these are the first steps in that direction. But to our tests and trials over years, we know the way, especially we have done a mixture with these cancers, is typically set for what we call emotion. How much we reduce illnesses in the houses, how much we reduce tensions. When you use these, write it down somewhere, video, because you forget, because it becomes natural process, how everything is before and how it will be in a month time. In a way, we are putting these in your homes, that everybody has the same standard, and we want to see if we achieve that standard across this planet. In so many ways, if you were knowledge seekers in 2007, 2008, we did a trial across growing wheat, and people around the world joined us, and we grow in different nations, and we watched it, how the plants grew, and they reported it if you were with at that time. With this, we want to see we are standardizing everybody to the same level. And these kind of products we are putting out is to reach that. And then we want to know how we connect systems together in the future products. If you remember in the teaching last week, we spoke about putting satellites which are maglev based. We want to connect those with these and to see how we connect together to change, to make that what we call that umbrella of peace, change of the emotion. With maglevs, with these are important for us because we create a dynamic field, and in with it we connect. And it's at the space and the position that tunes with the planet. So it's not just a simple product to launch. When it was offered to us by the Chinese team, I didn't look at it as a product we sell. I looked at it at what I can achieve with it, and in creating that dome of peace. And in so many ways, this we see it as a dome of peace in the house. And with what we put, we connect in the future, very near future, with new structures that you connect with the others, and we create that condition. To create peace doesn't come by talk. It needs to be planned, immaculately planned. And this is one of the first steps. We are going in that direction. We gave you the dynamic balls and everything else, and you turn it on whenever you want it. Leave these lights on, leave the speakers on if you can, and keep the fields open. And then you will see, we will keep up. When the more we launch these new products, and because we control it in the background in what we put in it, we create that common denominator to move man gradually and the environment from that animal behavior. To come in and push creates resistance. To come in and love creates and opens doors. And we want to do it this way, to bring harmony and peace at home. And then in where it sits, in the environment of the house and the area. And then the next steps as we produce, we don't need satellites. You become our satellites. We link it up. And I know exactly how it's going to be done. Try to understand, to bring peace needs time and patience. To create a child takes 9 months to create a peace for a human race, which has been killing and eating each other up for billions of years. Takes, I hope, not that 9 months, much less. But we have started a process, and these systems are not just the normal, these are for the future structure we set up, and it'll follow through it. If we could have a look at the environmental one which we launched last week, it's not that you can make it, is that we are using a specific procedure in our production that we follow this through and we link up. It all comes from the same center. It all comes from the same place. And the fan which shows we are following, that we unify. And this is the purpose in the background. It's not that I did something else, is that we all give the same. And overall, in a coming time, we all come to the same point. And we have started the process in a soft way, but as we know, do not hide. We explain everything step by step. I have a specific reason launching this at this time. And in so many ways, we change the dome, and it changed the dome of peace. And this is the beginning of it. Carry on, please.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I believe we can go to Rick to share the letter of the Universal Council.
Okay, just 1 minute.
While
Thank
Rick
you.
is finding it, sorry, Ella, while Rick is finding it, let me explain to you what is the step behind this. If you go back to the cushions, which we launched some times ago, we come from that point all the way up. The pillows, the cushions you ordered or is in the shop, the lamps, the outside environment, these are all connected to our ultimate position. These are not a product to just buy to have. These are the product which we set up deliberately to reach the ultimate goal of the Keshe Foundation, which is world peace. When you put your head on a pillow, already when you wake up, we want to send us reports. How do you feel? What emotion you carry? When the house is peaceful, what emotion you carry? You go outside the house, these yellow fans rotating, what does that carry? And then how far does it go? If another house, a kilometer or 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers or 100 kilometers away, uses the same structure, how you carry. We, as we said in our medical part, the difference with the Keshe Foundation system and technology with processing the body is for the first time reach the soul of the man, the emotion of the man. And we don't just fix the physicality, and you've seen how it works. And this is part of that process. From pillow, from what we say, from birth to grave, we want to elevate. And you sleep, we control to bring that peace in. From birth, the new enhancement units to give a peaceful condition to the time of birth, you will see more. So you have to change the society from its roots. You're pregnant, you'll see with these systems how peaceful does it make for the child, and how the children behave and change. You cannot teach it, but you can elevate the soul very slowly, that it becomes ingrained. And this is what we need, as I said many, many times. If you push it, it has a resistance. If you bring it in, that the man changes, it becomes acceptable and becomes part of life. And we started it slowly, slowly. The Keshe Foundation team in the background works day and night and we have a purpose. I never explain to my team what we need, but the products as they come, it especially comes that way. We feed you through the water. We look after the place you put your head. We look after the house and the air you breathe, and then we clean up and clear out the environment. We are setting the condition to change the soul of physicality to reach the soul of the man. And with this, we are trying to explain to you very simple. We have started the process. It is for you to spread it, and at the same time, everyone will be of the same level, at the same strength, and the same feeling and emotion. And please, as I said before, video record and start gathering the knowledge, how you feel when you come in, how you feel when you wake up, how you change when you come from outside pressure into the house, when these systems are running outside and inside and in your bed. See if there is less fight at home. See if there is more love at home. See how people want to be with you. How many birds will come more because we change the environment. We got to change it. And when we change it that way and we reach that point, we get letters like this that nations are prepared to move. And as we said, and this is open letter, very first ones in this way by the Universal Council. And when you see these letters coming from Universal Council, look behind it, what they'll bring for humanity. Don't read what is on the paper. And as I said to Universal Council members and everybody else, when you send this letter out to public, to leaders, to doctors, to anyone, don't press a button. Don't put in an envelope and send it. Don't email it just because you do email as others. Add the ethos of the Keshe Foundation to that sending. Put your souls in it, that the receiver receives it with the soul long before he reads the paper with the physical eye. We have to bring the change, but we have to understand how we bring the change. The time of a letter, yes, you send the letter to electricity board or whatever. Learn even that when you received and sent with the soul, with the love and care, it'll become part of you. It becomes, you already received the answer long before the letter arrives. Gives you peace of mind. Know where you are. And try to understand when you receive the wish of the Universal Council, it means there is a positive move of what is needed for humanity in respect to itself, in respect to Universal Council, in respect to universal community. Now, when you sit back, you can see years of work now has a meaning, has a purpose. And when we put this letter out on Friday, when it was written initially by Universal Council, and the first time was read in the Brazilian teaching on Friday night, hours later. On Saturday morning, we saw the change in the Iranian government. The Iranian government has turned position 180 degrees since Monday morning. Because they received the soul of the letter. And it's so amazing what is happening. And I informed the Iranian officials yesterday and the Iranian leadership that by releasing this letter today, international, this is on an international platform, a copy was received by the Office of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of this letter last night. We made sure of it late night, and we told them that this will go public. And this morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I received a call from the Iranian officials. We are making everything possible that we obey and see the objectives of this letter. Give us 10 days. I said, I already started, gave you 3 months. And you can see how fast this letter has already started moving within the government of Iranian officials. It brought what I wanted. It brought that the knowledge should be shared freely. And now the officials who resisted for 3 months and then pushed the shove in no time, since Monday, have allowed it. They want it, and it'll be done. Just give us 10 days. I said, no way. You had your time. And so you will see, hopefully next week and the week after, direct line with the governments to the Iranian government as they decided. What you see here in this letter, which is done in the hospital, we mentioned the name of the hospital and the city because it's been mentioned on the Iranian national television early April, and they tried to stop it. The scientist, you will see, came directly to our people, and he was told, you should not release the name. He said, but I covered it with other names, and I said, it's a traditional medicine. But as you hear in this link, which is given if you go to the Keshe Foundation, the interview with the scientist and the government official is released, as has been on the Iranian television. And if you listen to the teaching in past week or two, we have told you that Iranian officials did a rapid 200 test on people who were near death, and they all recovered. And the scientist who's responsible for it tells you, we had 190 cases fully recovered within days. We saw the same thing cover up in China. The Chinese took the Keshe Foundation technology and they put it as a Chinese traditional medicine. And now the analysis and their work will confirm they've used the GANS technology. But this time the Iranians are prepared to come out with it as what we call the proposal for the research has been signed by 5 eminent doctors and a stamp by their name, which means they put their profession online. And the proposal has been accepted. And the paper for publication in text has been accepted. We have asked for just a couple of weeks more delay as we are adding to it to make it an international scientific paper that it can be implemented on WHO standard, which means becomes immediate effective internationally as it has met all the WHO requirement for a medical technology to be applicable. And our team of doctors and scientists are working relentlessly. There is a criteria. This criteria was fully covered. We passed the marker for acceptance in the first batch 2 days ago, which means we have met WHO standards for a medicine to be published and released internationally. We are adding more documents to it with 150 live cases with all the details that there is no doubt in the integrity of the research. With what we see and the blessing of the Universal Council and the beautiful soul of the head of the Keshe Foundation, we'll see the change. And we should be ready for it, because now it's not talk. You have a scientific paper, you have confirmation by governments, and the readiness by leading university to back as they did the research. But they've done more, much more than Corona. And it has absolutely shocked them how this technology will change the world of medicine. In the coming time, you will see the change. There is a message for our research team in Iran. We stay as Keshe Foundation. We stay as Bunyad Keshe Dar Iran. And we will not change. We do not come to be hidden under different names, as the Iranian leadership might not like the Keshe Foundation in name because of its connections and its ethos. My advice to the Iranian leadership is, do not hide it, because it's so obvious. We work with the name of Keshe Foundation across the planet, and there should be no difference in Iran. Would you like to read it?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kesh. As you said, this letter does not contain just words and text. It contains the soul and the love and the care that was brought by all the Universal Council members and all the knowledge seekers in the Keshe Foundation that have read it up to now. Open letter to governments across the world. Solutions for eradicating COVID-19 are now available. Your Excellencies and Honorable Presidents, Prime Ministers, Ministers of Health, we, the Universal Council, bring to the attention of all people and governments across the world the below offer of solution for COVID-19. The founder and director of the Keshe Foundation, Mehran Tavakoli Keshe, publicly offered governments across the world the needed solutions for the eradication of COVID-19. He made the offer internationally on Thursday, June 4, 2020. The offered solutions for eradication of COVID-19 are based on the newly discovered plasma science and technology known as Keshe GANs, gases in nanosolid state technology, that were developed by the Iranian nuclear engineer Mehran Tavakoli Keshe. The technology is offered freely to all nations in exchange for peace. The new plasma technology uses natural products and can be used for detection, prevention, reversal of COVID-19, and environmental cleanup. With this technology, the cost of saving a life is less than $10. On acceptance of this offer by governments, the technology can be confirmed between the two nations' leading universities, and upon their agreement of the proof of the data, the national officials' negotiations can be completed. The effectiveness of the Keshe GANs technology against COVID-19 and other viruses was recently demonstrated in Iran and is awaiting publication in an internationally renowned medical scientific journal. Details on this publication are available from the Keshe Foundation. Using the newly discovered Keshe GANs technology, Iranians cleared the full emergency wing of a hospital that was full of COVID-19 infected patients, and the hospital, using the technology, cured more than 100 infected and home quarantined people in 14 days. The city has a population of 50,000 inhabitants and has been disinfected with the GANs technology and is now free of COVID-19 for more than 50 days. Before intervention with the new GANs technology, the hospital had 1 to 2 deaths per day from COVID-19. In addition, there are no new infections and no deaths in the city since the application of the GANs technology. For more information, contact info@keshe.foundation. Thank you. The second page was read as well, Rick. Just the
Thank you.
scrolling of the page was a bit later.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry. The update, can you put the page up, please, as it is? The updated version of this letter has been published on the internet, where the link to the television broadcasting in Iran by the scientist, the full name and details of the professor from the university, and the officials has been written. That at the same time, the full detail of the city of Mahalat is there, that it can be checked. We have deliberately released this letter this way, that the government understand when you send these to them, please go, for security reasons, we do not put the new link in, because it carries names of officials on, and in that process, We want to keep the foundation network safe. There is a link. Would you like to display the link, please? That where they can go and download the new update version with all the details, the television program, and everything else on it. Is it possible, Rick, that you can have that link put up on the screen? Download the new version and print it or copy it and send it to every doctor you know, every press, newspaper, radio, television, ministers, government officials, and every public position. You can read it at plasmacircle.com/WP. The purpose of doing it this way is very simple. Last time, I gave 2.5 years to government. They didn't do much. And then we gave it 2.5 years. This time, we have given the Iranian government 2.5 months. And now it's in your hand, even though everything else behind it has been done. You got to understand, the process is very simple. And we push forward with the change as we govern as a scientific organization for the whole of humanity, where our governments look only into their pockets for their nationals. This is the difference which a new one nation governing policy has to be, where we give to one nation or two nations to test, and when it becomes available, belongs to all of us as one family. The way I explain to the Iranian scientific leadership, very simple. You're like one university in one nation. Your rights does not stop at the boundary of the nation of Iran. When you are in United Kingdom, when the research is done and is approved, it becomes applicable across United Kingdom as one nation. The new governing body of one nation, one planet, one race, we look at it the same way. Done in Iran University becomes the property of all of us as one nation. This is at the moment very hard for many officials to swallow. They are used to division and nationalism. And this is the job of the Universal Council and every knowledge seeker to start changing. The way we share this document and the way we are sharing all the knowledge and the technology, as we showed you last week, Iran is sitting on these equipments. I need to be able to share the screen, please. Rick, can you open the sharing the screen for us?
Yes, we can do that, Mr. Kesh. I think
it blocks me from doing it. It's my other line. It's my second line online. What we do and what we've seen with the Iranians is that deliberately sitting on technology because minister has taken a massive bribe. What we see, the Iranians were, and we understand, were sold the stem cell technology by the Chinese that will eradicate. And the results of it has failed, has not worked. So in not working, those who were sitting at top, now they've left with the egg on their face and they block not only Keshe Foundation technology, but many others could do help. We are not arrogant to say we are the only solution. There are some beautiful scientists who have developed different ways, but the difference with the Keshe Foundation is is not one thing. Is detection, is prevention, is processing, and is disinfecting. And what it comes afterwards with it is a comprehensive system. And this is what the government suddenly understand on the back of a massive failure and a lot of bribes taken internally by ministers who have made what they call a mafia to make sure that comes in and they can make millions out of it, Iran or from outside. Its failure has brought open wound. We lost many people for greed of a few. In due course, I've been given the authorization to release the name of the ministers. And it's very open place. As you understand, as we said, I still cannot share Rick on my handset.
Maybe Stanley, you'll have to stop sharing so that you can see
It's
these here or something.
Yep, it's open. Yep, thank you very much. What we said before is that, and we showed it, the systems are on a standby built but blocked by the minister because of whatever private bank account he has promised. And in so many ways, these systems should be on the street and be able to deliver. As we showed it before, they're all parked up and cannot be used because we are ready to go. Keshe Foundation, each unit parked outside each hospital will save lives at the point where the lives are in danger. Then to the families who come, then disinfects the whole hospital, and then the environment of the city around it. This is how we're done in what I call the city of Mahalat. They have not hidden it. It's very straight open. We carry the national flag of Iran with the 4 symbols of the Iranian Keshe Foundation. Keshe Foundation Iran, KFSSI, Space Civil Institute, and KFSSI. And KF, which is our manufacturing part of the worldwide operation. And the government officials have parked these. We cannot move because they were trying to sell this themselves. Every one of these can save thousands of lives. And in so many ways, we cannot wait. We have set it up, ready to deliver. And the saddest thing is, the second cycle of Corona has started taking more lives in Iran while these systems are parked. Built by the instruction of the university, the leading university in Iran, stuck in storage by the order of the ministers who's taken a huge bribe for a failed process. And in so many ways, we don't have time to wait. We do not have time for a minister to decide in what he or she would like to receive in a private bank account when the new version of Corona in past 7 days is killing children. We are losing children in Iran due to new Corona. Children come in with temperature of 38, 39, moves to 42, they go into coma and they die within hours. We lost 3 children yesterday in the north city of Mashhad. And if you want to see how it looks, I know it's so gruesome. I think if I put this picture on, YouTube will delete us. How 3 bodies look in a couple next to each other. 3 babies, 3 children. I have it. If you want, I can share it. I'm sure YouTube and other organizations will relate the whole of the Keshe Foundation for the truth to show. And in that process, I don't see why a minister and his private bank account is more than lives of children who are dying and the parents losing their children. This is how it looks to save many lives in hospitals. This is unit shipped to Brazil to the hospital. This unit can save hundreds of lives. Keshe Foundation works relentlessly. Our staff hardly sleep across the world to make sure what change can be brought in. And one small box changes hundreds of thousands of lives across another part of the world. This is a shipment to Brazil. We're not theoretical, we are very practical. And we see it, we deliver it, and in so many ways, we operate as one national system. Keshe Foundation has become the alternative. And as we set up centers around the world to be the center of excellence, as you will see very soon, these are the partially built, complete, to be completed in Arizona Keshe Foundation. In next more or less 2 months, this center will be fully operational. Where we'll make the change. As I said, from the pillow to the point of birth. When you have these machines with you, you can give birth direct. This is where we're bringing the change in. We'll see many centers across US on the same basis. Our partnership with John is to guarantee this right across the United States, the same standard. This is not the future. This is the present, which will be released. It's the present which is in hand. And in so many ways, as we push, we take the whole thing a step further. And in so many ways, maybe as knowledge seekers, we need to understand the change has come. And it'll be a pleasure, a beautiful pleasure, maybe to show you something which many of you have been waiting for. For the first time, you see in physical picture. Systems are ready and will be delivered. What you saw in Arizona has taken shape. It's not the schematic, it's the reality which will come. It's already finished. And in so many ways, the future has arrived. We will invite the world leaders on its full operation. As I said, we'll push to the limit that we get our way. I've asked for world peace on this planet, and I will get it. And I'll never fail to get what I ask for. Never in my life. When we show technology, when we explain technology, we have to deliver the technology. And we are delivering. And as I said, maybe it was a good reason for delay with the Wuhan and the Corona, that we bring the acceptance of the technology worldwide. And we're at that point. It's your job as knowledge seekers to deliver the message of Universal Council to every doctors, every newspaper, every channel, internet, whatever governments. And in so many ways, they have to understand why we deliver this. A young girl, 23-year-old, last week from Iran, asked for a vision. Now where we're going to be. And in so many ways, if you can put it up, Rick, please. I explained in a simple way, what is the vision? Where it comes after Corona? And our Brazilian knowledge seekers have brought it down to a summary of what was said. And I think now what you've seen today, up to now, is good to read, and you see what is to come. Now you see the thing in physical dimension, from pillow, from birth in the machine, to the pillow you sleep, to the environment of the home, and the environment of where you live. You got to understand, we tune these systems, as you've seen, to become flying machines. We'll bring a new version of these to be at every corner that you can walk in to be fed. Hunger will be eradicated. You see in the machine, it's not the drawing anymore. We'll make sure the health becomes part of the integrity and the right of every man, free at the point of need. You got to remember, illness, by using these systems as a feeding machine, will be eradicated. Many of us will live beyond 2, 3, 4, or 500 years old from now. We have to plan a peaceful planet. And we have to plan a planet where we live like the lions and the lamb, free on every corner of it. And we are welcome as we don't become foreigners as we cross a river, or we get on the plane and land somewhere else. The word foreigner should be erased from the vocabulary of the human being on this planet and beyond. Would you like to read it with your beautiful voice, the Keshe Foundation, please?
Yes, we can read it.
Please.
As you mentioned, this can also be heard in the previous Knowledge Seekers Workshop 331st on June 2020, June 5th. And this is an actual summary of your transcript. The vision for our near future by Mr. Keshe. What is to come? An Iranian woman asked Mr. Keshe what is the vision for Earth for the next 3 years or more. He replied, "Our vision is very simple. We will see world peace. It's laid out very clearly, and actually we have already entered it. It's just a matter of doing some polishing. It's the time for some nations to clean up their own house for the wrongs they have done in the past, but it is their own internal war between themselves and not with us, like what we see happening in the United States. A lot of things will not be what we see or know today, and we'll see progressive evolution in science and technology over the next 3 to 5 years. The main thing we will see is the disappearance of armies. The military forces will be educated due to two or three factors. The knowledge we'll bring out will make the present arms obsolete. Additionally, the present situation in the world does not allow any nation to buy arms because they cannot afford it unless they are corrupt nations and their leaders are trying just to put some money in their bank and don't care about the situation in the country. In the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see eradication of hunger. I had this discussion in last Tuesday's teaching when we were talking about using the satellites. In fact, the Keshe Foundation does not need to rely on satellites because the technology you have is much better than satellites. The food which you will develop will not only fly, but will also supply the energy needed for food. So in that sense, in reality, satellites have become obsolete. We'll see the total and absolute eradication of the use of fossil fuels. This will happen very soon and very rapidly because once the new technology on the magnetical and gravitational fields are released, people will take the engines out of their cars. It's so simple, and hopefully this is what we are going to do in a very short time in the universities in Iran. This is one of the first projects I want to be in on, and it's on the table for the work that the universities want to do. And I told them I am in on it with the Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers. We want to bring out a special system to do this, and I will be part of everything. When this happens, we'll see many old tankers abandoned on the high seas, where they will rot and pollute. So we have to make plans for them. With the reduction in the burning of fossil fuels, we'll see changes in the atmosphere that will lead to new illnesses because we won't be used to going back to a clean environment. Other things we'll see are in the next 3 to 5 years, the end of the drugs and drug trafficking. Kingship and leadership will come to an end as collectively the human race will support itself. Hunger will come to an end through the process I explained earlier, as well as the use of medicines. As we introduce the new flight systems, the present propulsion flights will become obsolete by their nature. Mankind will keep the space station as a memory of the good old days. Very soon, man will expand out into space and be able to travel beyond the moon and Mars and even the solar system in a matter of minutes. What I see is very simple, and is the fact of what I know about what my technology can do and what we see that it does. The world governments will change to it because of the corona. Corona wasn't that bad. It brought a lot of good things. We will see that the property market more or less will crash and people will give you their houses to live in. In the next 5 to 10 years, with the present knowledge, people will have the option to not need to live in crowded cities. One of the first things we'll see in maybe 2 to 3 years is the end of mining. Keshe Foundation has been working in the background as part of its programs and has already started setting it up in the Arizona Test Center. This means we do not have to deplete the planet for resources, nor destroy the farms, gardens, yards, jungles, and whatever. We will have respect for the planet, and the knowledge will come through transfer of the fields, so we don't have to let the earth do it. In so many ways, one of the first things mankind will stop is the slaughtering of animals. The nature will find its own balance, and this is because it will be able to deliver food, or what we call energy for life. It is 100% sure that this is on the cards to eradicate the use of animals. and we will see the end of the use of and destruction of the planet. Especially now, as we start with the corona, people will have to accept the technology. And then all of these things will come together. And as it comes and we accept that it works, then we will start building. The research and development of the new plasma technology and the understanding of the work of the universe will change everything rapidly. What I see is colonization. Man will start colonizing very, very fast. Now we go to New York for the best restaurant, and soon we will go to Mars for a coffee and come back. These are not dreams, these are on the cards right now. You will see it. We will make these places to fit us for living. As we have created the dome of peace, we will create a dome of life, living on different planets. In so many ways, we'll not see entrepreneurs open beautiful restaurants and service stations, but rather they will build these centers across the space that people can watch the beauty of the creation. Mankind's way of working will change in the next 20 years. None of us will work to live, rather, we will work for the pleasure of it. We'll all become scientists and we'll all become devoted to serve, because everybody else is busy doing nothing, and we all will do what we like to do. This is not my vision. I know what is to come. We will see a new life, a new cycle. I see a new birth, and that birth will change everything which comes with it. Birth of a new cycle for man, and with it will come a birth of a new cycle for the whole of the universe. We are the tiniest dust, but we will become the important dust. I see a lot. I see the end of religions, because every man will become religious to the order of the correct order. We will believe through our own soul, and we'll see that what the prophets saw. We live by their ethos and not by us talking about it. There is one thing for sure, and that's for sure 100%, we'll see a lot of marriages. Intermarriages between mankind and other races in the universe, who are here but too shy to show themselves. We will see this because now man has quieted and has matured. They will not hide anymore in the clothes of the man, but will be themselves. And this will be a shock to a lot of us, because we won't eat them, we won't see them as food. In so many ways, we have changed the course of humanity, and we'll see how the human race will respond to it. My vision is very simple, because I know what I brought, and I know what I planned, and I know what I am delivering, and I know what I am going to get for it. And there is one thing for sure, I will die in the most beautiful place in the universe, in the physical dimension.
Thank you very much. I think today's workshop is a point that brings a lot of work of over years together. And in so many ways, it starts the next cycle. The next cycle will be so beautiful that we have started. A foundation with the work of many of us, for the first time, has changed the course of a nation and a government in Iran. And in so many ways, that will change many other governments who are trying to save the life of their own citizens And in sharing the knowledge freely, as it says in the instruction of the Keshe Foundation Universal Council letter, will open the rest of the humanity to accept the technology because they already saved their lives with it. And in that process, we'll see the changes to come gradually. Investments by the governments to find better and faster and newer technologies through this will become inevitable. Cooperations and collaborations, as we said in the letter, first, the universities of the nations have to agree with each other that the data is closed. Once you establish that connection, then it comes from the same university to the same universities, the space knowledge, the agricultural knowledge, the material knowledge. And as I said, I make Iran the center of knowledge, the cradle of space and peace. And now you have seen how beautiful is that. Why in this letter and our wish is that we prove between the universities first. In a way, the university in Iran becomes the center of the new knowledge and connected to all the university of the nationals in one goal. I'm a master of my work and I know how to work. I wanted it this way and I got it exactly the way I wanted it. And in so many ways, on the back of it, a religious nation will put the science ahead of religion. And by it and with it and through it, we see the amalgamation of the science and religion, as I said in my writing. Emergence of a new cycle. It's not on card. It has already started. When the children are disobedient, you don't fight them. You make the life comfortable for them, then they have nothing to disobey. And this is the way the universe works. When you refuse, we don't fight. We find a way that accommodates your need and satisfies our work. We never steal, but we give enough that you offer freely because you understand the importance of it, be it the world leader, be it the individual, be it society. What will be interesting for many of you, as you've seen, by establishing the new enhancement unit, with these units which we are putting in a hidden way in operation in your homes, the radio, the light, the pillow and everything else, you create and establish the same light, the same operation. And gradually you have to understand, when you have a unit in Australia and a unit in North America and unit in Africa and in Canada or in Brazil, these fields interact, interconnect. And with it, gradually we change the habit of the animals and the plants. We cannot get every lion and tame it, but we can elevate the soul of the lion to tame itself. We cannot throw a leg of a lamb or a sheep because the lion is in cage. We feed it with the energy of the universe. That lion doesn't look like food. Exactly what we are doing with humanity, that man does not see everything as food, as we satisfy that hunger. The only hunger will be left for man is hunger to love, and no more. to love more, to give more, to serve more. That by serving more, we become servants to the Creator in the new dimensions and those who've been offered and accepted. Now you understand the work of a scientist and the work of a prophet all sits in one. And it's beautiful the way it's come. And when I sat this morning after telephone calls with the Iranian officials, I said, yes, world peace has started. Sharing of the knowledge freed has started. And the true first step for mankind to become man of space has started. As I said, when the administrative and legislative and the soul of the foundation works together, it doesn't need 2 years. It took 2 days. And that gap was because when the Universal Council went into writing, it was a Friday. And by Monday, we saw the change. The delivery did become faster, not 2.5 years, 2.5 days. We asked you to ask what is, not to ask, but to discuss with us what is your vision. What extension on your vision want to expand? And what extension to your vision will bring you peace? Yes, just received a beautiful message from Iranian officials. They're online and they're listening. And they have approved of our approach. I thank the Office of Ayatollah Khamenei and the Iranian leadership for collaboration. And together we bring peace. Danny Lloyd Butler, Universal Council support team. He says, with the arrival of the universal community present and a full view to humanity, what positive condition can we expect for all beings? I think what you have not realized is that universal community has already delivered in a beautiful way. What positive condition can be expected? You have already received the world peace through the support and work of the universal community. Man is the tool, and our wish is the instrument hidden behind to deliver. A long time ago, we realized mankind cannot jump this barrier. This change was impossibility with the human race. Many people from universal community, individually and in different operations, tried to help mankind. And in different ways, once they saw the beauty of and the power of the knowledge, they've used it. They became rabbis and Rothschilds. This time, the universal community went for humanity as a whole, and we delivered. When you look, we are already in. When you look, we are already delivered. And what to expect is the vision we gave you. The reason we read out the vision today, what was asked last week, was to tell you this is what you got to expect. And it's only you who's got to deliver, nobody else. As I said, in a very, very simple way, and in a very direct way. And cannot be in any other way to be explained. I asked for it, I said, and I was given. We asked for world peace to be the prerequisite for peace and change of the course. And we served to get it, and it was given. We asked for a birth, we served, and we'll get it. Birth of new peace, birth of a new cycle, birth of a new life. And there's not much more to expect. As a humans, you have not managed to deliver it for thousands of years. And we delivered it for you. So if you ask me what to expect, we have already delivered your expectation beyond your imagination. And soon you will see we delivered the rest. We ask for one thing, and we get that, we deliver more. And in so many ways, mankind is ready for that change. There's a question here I don't like to answer, but I answer part of it. Wilson B says, hello, Mr. Kesh. Could you talk a little bit about abortion? Concerning abortion is what is done with man. Does not exist in the space. We never abort. We always find a solution to give life, but the life which is started to carry. Unless there is a danger to the mother. Mother's life is sacrosanct. The only point of abortion has to be when the mother psychologically and physically cannot carry through. And in that process, we abort. And in a given time, we restart again, where the concerns are put right. Daniel Mello, he says, two souls, how they are created. First of all, which two souls? And if to do with the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, one is the initiator of the other, and then one becomes captive of the other. In a way, what initiates later on becomes the prison officers, as I call it. Physicality initiates the creation of the soul, and then imprisons it because it knows it needs it for it to survive. As we see, if it doesn't capture it, if it doesn't imprison it, when the soul leaves, the physical life ends. This is how, if you understood my teaching, I always say, I have time. The soul of the man stands the captivity for 10 years, 50 years, 80 years, because it knows it has more strength than the soul of the physicality, and when it goes weak, it can escape. You call it old age, we call it the freedom of the soul. As many people tell you around me, I have time. Because you get old, I take the soul. Soul is of my age. The physicality is your pitfall. I see the soul, you see the physicality. And in time, as I am the soul, I always get what I want. Because physicality has a time lapse and it's got a time span. And as it lasts longer, it becomes weaker. As I said before, I can wait 100 years. I will get what I want. We can enjoy a short physical life, but I'll get what I came here to get. So at the end, there is no problem. So when you ask this question, it's very simple. Absolutely simple. When we create souls, we bring the best of the universe. What is not belonging to anyone else and has the beauty to be part of the soul. If you look in the pictures of a bouquet of flowers, a beautiful bouquet has many flowers and positioned in different way to show the beauty of a bouquet. So shall be the life of the soul we choose. Every strength in it shows its absolute beauty, but it fits in to make that bouquet. And when two bouquets come together, they have to perfectly match, that you don't see who brought which flower. This needs a lot of understanding from the soul of those who collect the flowers. What does my lover loves and enjoys? And if the two lovers match, they pick up not necessarily the same flowers, but the flowers that when they put their bouquets together is one. And in the life of man, as I said, you spend a few seconds to create, and the mess you have created in the life of universe, you spend a lifetime to have that soul, to become the creator of the new soul. And when we offer, it's already chosen. It's just arranged. We don't go and collect. It's not like earth, you grow somewhere and then you look for a wife, for a partner. We already know our partner, then we collect. And even that partner is already set in the fields of the universe to match. It's not arranged marriage, it's the willing to create, to serve. And that's why you humans busy working to live in the universe, we are busy enjoying to make sure we create. Big difference. And mankind has to learn a new way. Discuss, understand, agree, nourish. And with it, with a new understanding, brings from the rays of the universe to create the absolute perfect soul. There's a very interesting point that if you have done that, if you have managed to do that, you'll find out this bouquet has another bouquet which matches it. That the field of the two will create the beauty of the two and can be seen in totality. In a way, I call it two half bouquets. When you put them together, they make a full bowl of bouquets. And in so many ways, each half is one soul. And when they come together, is the twin souls to make one. We see it in the structure of the stars. And the beauty of it is, if you understand the knowledge the way I have shown you in past few weeks, you even see on the skin of the man. And when I saw it, it was very interesting that how life has become so beautiful, even on the skin of the man, you see the work of the universe. You've seen this. This is the hand of a krona, but look at the beauty of it. Look at the majesty of it if you understand it. How can a soul be without the twin? Even on your skin, everything is in twin. Now you see what I see as the beauty of krona. It shows the beauty of the creation if you understand it. Twinity. It shows that that cell where you see has a matching one, is another star. If you could make different color of twin cells which are connected to each other, you can imagine the mosaic of colors on the skin. I tell you, when I said mankind will be so busy, has no time for war. Mankind will take him thousands of years to understand how these cells are made in such a beautiful position, in the beautiful setting it is. And how it compromises. If you understand it, it's amazing. But if you don't understand it, it's just a dot. You see this, all the twins, and you see a strange twin here, but you see a strange twin here. But look at the elbow. It allows it to be with me, but allow you that you can move, that I can keep with the one next to me. It's amazing if you understand the physics and science behind it. At the upper end, you see the shape. At the point of coming to balance, you see the shape. At the extension, you see. If you understand science of creation the way I do, you see beauty and understand how the universe works. But there's a very interesting thing, and that is, in a simple way, is this the universe of man? And is there's another universe which is connected to the universe of man? But this to this still has a connection. And when we talk about the unicos, are we with our universe one of these? That in totality, as these cells have made the body of the man, we make the body of the creator. And in so many ways, if our universe, we are a dust in it, you can imagine how massive the creator is. And when it takes house on earth, you can understand what a beautiful place it is that he has manifested in it. And ask yourself one question: why? He has come to collect. Soon you will understand. He has come to receive and see the beauty of the creation. He always said, I made man in the image of myself. Not only in the image of the soul, but in dimension of the work of physicality. Now, I hope he has answered you in a very clear way. He says, when the earth shut down its magnetic field to zero, what effect does this have on the field that we humans perceive with our physical eyes? This will never happen. We never have zero. The zero field never exists anywhere in the universe. As I said, in Chinese numerical numbers, they never had zero. Non-existence does not exist in Chinese vocabulary. It's the Western who have brought that zero into their culture. In true Chinese tradition, there's never nothing. There's always something. And so it's the same with the world of fields and magnetic fields. There is nowhere in the universe that there is no field. So magnetic field zero cannot exist. So will become another field. But there is nowhere that will be nothing. It says, what words shall I try using to explain plasma science and GANs to those who do not know? Now, your dilemma was how I make you worse for you. Your dilemma is two ways now. If you understood what I said when you send that letter of the Universal Council by email, by pressing a button, by post, or even by word, think this way. When you speak, become a woman and become multitasker. While you're speaking, speak about the corona with the letter. At the same time, use your soul to put in the word, that the man hears the voice but receives the soul. And then out of nowhere, you will find changes. Then you don't need to explain, you already have said. And what usually happens is they find a common ground themselves in the knowledge that you can build it up for them. No soul should accept and understand humiliation, nor physicality. And so, if you give the knowledge with the voice of the man, you get reaction of the man. Learn to give with your soul while you speak. You'll find out the soul will accommodate to find the physicality with the soul of physicality, to find a way for you to enlighten. The way of teaching, the way of knowledge transfer, the way of loving, all has to change. All has to be respect for soul first, then the physicality comes with it. Man teaches through the paper. Throw the paper to the wall. Teach through your soul. Then you write with the pen of soul. And then physicality easily follows. Do you know what we usually say? This is exactly what I mean. But how come you never understood it before? Because this time you taught the soul, soul taught the physicality, and you get what you want. You've been the wrong teacher. Not the wrong teacher. You never knew how to teach. Now you learn how to teach. When I ask, I give from my soul. And even in the time of difficulties, not understanding, souls will find for physicality to understand. And that enlightens. Teach both, now that you know, with the language of the man and the soul of the man too. You will find success. You will find peace. You find no argument because you already have agreed in the background with the soul. You just wait for the physicality to arrive. It's very much, you discuss something in the office, but learn to transfer it with the soul to his soul too. It takes you to get home, have your dinner, the phone rings, and the guy says, oh, now I understood. I want to know more. Or I want to teach. I want to explain. The first thing you teach him is what he was taught to you. Teach him, if I don't understand you, speak to me through your soul. That when I hear your voice, I see the emotion. I see the reality. And my souls will teach me to understand you. Don't stay to be alone. Teach that you become the same. Then teaching becomes easy. In your offices, in your homes, with your lovers, always elevate their soul. Words can find conflict, souls finds peace and changes the physicality. I ask and I keep on teaching the soul. This is what I want. Teach me too the way you are happy with, the way I can accommodate your concern. But don't write it to me. Teach me to your soul. And through that, we find accommodation for other souls that we all happy with what is come. At the end, the one who asks first will get it, because the rest will accommodate that request and never ask if you don't need, or if it's not a need for others to be served, not for yourself. So we have to learn new ways to talk, teach the others. You want to speak to me, give me your thoughts while you're speaking. Give me from your soul that enlightens me, that I understand your thoughts, that with it I can enlighten you. You'll find out friendships becomes everlasting. Marriages, there is no divorce. Creating children become the creation of the soul and physicality, because I give you that physical child for you to get the confirmation of your existence as mine, but together we raise the soul. And every discussion and every point of talk has to be that child. We grow a child of knowledge. We grow a child of peace. We grow a child of communication and understanding. Teaching is not just by passing on words. Teaching has to be by receiving souls, energy from it that elevates us. And for us to receive that, we give more to elevate those who we share. We have a Brandon D, one of these, what I call knowledge seekers, bright lights. And sometimes knowledge is too good, but too much knowledge can be sometimes not very good. He says, I'm designing a do-it-yourself hot tub for soaking in cup 1 and 2 gallons. This could be modified in a number of ways to create an at-home health enhancement unit to deal with the deep infections of coronavirus. I can share the creation process to the world team. We already have asked the knowledge seekers to use the ganses and to use it to be in the bath or to take a shower in it, or to allow for the effect of energies of the corona to be dissipating in a bigger soup of energies. You people make these baths and tubs and whatever according to the direction of your soul, what it needs, what is lacking of, and why it's allowing to. In so many ways, there is something very interesting that I've explained this many times. When you do wrong, expect wrong. And when you set your life the correct way by asking for the balance of the collective consciousness of everyone involved receives and reaches that point, this is the time when you succeed. In so many ways, making these bathtubs and making all sorts has to come from the knowledge within a man. And in so many ways, do we need a tub to immerse ourselves in? We have the tub of our soul and the universe. It's just that we got to know how to tap into it and how to enlighten it. There are many people who have many ideas about systems. None of them are wrong. But we have to let people to decide in how they want to do it. I would love to teach you how to get in touch with your soul, how to know the difference between talking physical life and thinking the physical life, and being able to communicate with your soul. The soul of the man, to communicate with it, has a specific way you feel it, you understand it, and you can reach your soul. I told this to the head of the Keshe Foundation in the past couple of days. And in time, she will teach you. When she understands herself how it works. Where you learn how to hear, to listen, and to understand. In a way, you deliver your wishes of correct way to your soul, and you let the soul to inform and pass on to the soul of physicality, that you get no disturbances. This is what I explained to you last time. How to reach and connect the soul of physicality to the soul of the man. In so many ways, it's very easy. As I said, I teach the soul of the heads that in time they understand and they teach as you mature. If you remember, this was your soul, and this is the soul of physicality, which embraces you to hold on to you. We always try to breach this. This is where the problem sits. In so many ways, you can create a traffic this way much easier, but you have to know how to reach this. With this, you don't talk. With this is emotion of love and care. And this will respond because the bridge is done. There is no need for this gap. Man will see a smaller brain. Man will see not need for the physicality of a brain, because the soul will interact directly within soul of physicality. You don't have the gap of what we call the soul of the man and the soul of physicality. The way, if you learn how to access the emotion of your soul communication, you get away with the whisperer we call the brain of the man, the creator of all the problems for mankind. This is what I explained last week. You try to elevate the discourse, but in so many ways, I always said, feed from your soul. That then there is no need for the brain. I taught this in detail to the head of the Keshe Foundation. And in time, when the time is right, she will teach. That's the time when mankind reaches peace. Peace within and peace with understanding of the totality. Those of you who lie and cheat will find out it's very hard to get rid of this, what you call the brain, because you operate through it to cheat. Lie, deceive, betray, adulterous. This needs the brain. And if you manage to do, you don't need this. You work in a higher strength, because what this does is stays for you walking on the wood and hurting yourself, or deciding what to put in the body or where to walk. The two will work in synchronization. When we love, we give, and loving is part of our work. We always give and serve. As I said, step by step, we bring you to that point. Says, Mr. Kesh, could you please explain again how to feed people without food? Partially, you already know. Partially, you have to be able to feed the totality. The body of the man is a very complex system. It has too many needs. So you cannot keep on giving it the CO2 and Zn and the rest of it. There is, let's say, 100 elements, thousands of isotopes, and again, millions of conditions. Salt condition, salinity, pressure, magnetic field. So when you want to feed a man, understand this complexity. The reason none of you ever get satisfied and you give up on CO2, because you only give this much of it. You have not found the way for the rest. The guy is hungry. Find a way to satisfy all that, every single one of it. The man will not kill. Or do what I just explained to you, do the soul, and let the field of the soul overflow. When you start loving each other, you start feeding each other. And when you start feeding each other, you don't need food, because you're all in the same circle. This is why, in a hidden way, I set out in past few months to bring this. Those of you who bought the Keshe Foundation pillows, watch how you feel to eat in the morning. What you eat, the way you eat. Because in the pillow, we feed you overnight, we saturate. And the physicality is already received. See how you wake up, how you feel to wake up. See how much, there is one thing you'll find out, how much sexually you behave changes. The sleeping on beds will become the sleeping on beds at one. because we sought the psychological problem. As I was explaining this before, it's very simple. The biggest problem for mankind will be the problem I want to solve. I need 14 billion minimum. I've got two choices: get you to do whatever, or find a pillow that I can pillow talk. We know our way how to get to you lot. So understand, as we said, the corona cannot be that bad. You locked in 70 million Italians who every other shop on the street is a women's laundry, and you never see customers in any of them, but they're all selling somewhere because it's used somewhere. And so we do the same. We lamppost you in every shape or form, from pillow to point of birth to outside, that mankind finds only one thing: to love and make loving to become part of his life. That he's so busy with loving that he forgets about fighting. It's very easy. Now, the hated word by some of you, which say, Mr. Keshe, you can't say that. You don't understand our work. We do. It says, how do I know my soul of the man is communicating with me? You will know so easy. And you will know how easy you talk to the soul of your partner. You write while they're writing in different part of the world is exactly the same meaning, sometimes the same words and the same sentence. You don't practice it, you love it. And the more love you give, the more it becomes one. When even once, twice, 3 times you do that, you'll find the souls have locked in. It's just trying to carry out the wishes and the pleasures. Don't be fooled by, oh, I was just thinking and I was writing and I was saying just what you said. And then you've learned how to communicate. You learn. I taught you how to elevate the soul. Make a wish or make communication, emotion or understanding to your soul. And watch if your physicality does that. And then you say, draw a green, I would love to see, but you have to understand the language of soul and you know how to communicate with it. It works sometimes, it's amazing. I've done that recently with the head of Keshe Foundation. It's amazing how it works. What do you get? And you say, tick. She says my word, tick. And then you do it with your own soul, with your own physicality. See if does that, if follows you. It's very difficult to speak to 2 souls you want to communicate, one in Europe and one in China, with all the time pens and papers and internet. It's become very easy to do through the soul of the man. And gradually that step by step gets built up. And you have to do the same. It doesn't mean that you have access to all the souls. Sorry, it's impossible. It is possible, but You become very, very small because you use all your energies. But you can do with those you want, your children, your lover, your animal. Once I was asked, can you do something? I said, if you want, I can switch the system off for you just sitting here. They said, it's impossible. And it was done. But so how do you do it? I said, we are not here to show magic. We understand how we want the system to work. So learn first. This is why I gave you the cup of man, for you to get under what we call the sandbox. It says, how do I know another soul is communicating? With your soul does, your physicality will be very difficult till you don't understand how to work with your soul. It's very much like that ringing tone. You don't know the phone rings, but you're not aware that the waves are on the way from New York to you in London. But they already started because it was sent. You just wait for the confirmation of the ringtone on your phone. But how did it know you're in London? Because the last time you spoke, you were in Sydney. It's the same way. You remember that song, Ring My Bell? Long time ago, if you remember, if you're that old as me. See who rings your bell. The bell of your soul that you hear in your physicality. The worst thing with this technology is when people are at work like this, you cannot lie. Your package is on the way. Sorry, I've never been to the post office. I see the soul. He's never been to the post office. Why he says he sent it? I did that recently. I wrote the thoughts of the soul in writing, and the physicality could not hide. That was the thought. Because you learn to communicate with the soul's physicalities, lies and height. Souls don't. And when you say, I heard from your soul, I agreed with your soul, is already done. Because if you lie against it, you have to pay very heavy for it in the physical dimension. So we have to learn a new way of living. Live my way, you live a peaceful way. Sometimes a bit harsh, but at the end it works out good. It says, what happens with the soul of the man upon the death of the physical body? Nothing. It becomes a star. It becomes a center of energy for something else. I'll tell you what happens. Maybe. As the guy says, maybe with the French accent. So, you see, this is the sun, and you become the ray, and you have to go all the way to the back and start. And if you are lucky, you add up, and maybe you become somewhere a planet. And then if you're lucky, you become, and then you go back in. This ray has an option to go all the way and start with all the torture if and linger there for billions of years, or as it blessed, will become directly part of another life to serve, to do It becomes center of creation for that one. The same thing happens with the soul of the man. Our soul, in leaving the physicality, becomes part of the dimension of the creation in the unicos, and then starts that cycle. But this time, the destination is the creator. So you become another star, another planet in the circle of the soul of the creator, and then in the physicality dimension of creation. In that intro, it says, what would I become? The dust, or part of another, or I become, in collectiveness, the sun itself that becomes the lead. You have to decide which one you want to be. Those who do wrong become the dust, have to become part. Those who serve become the sun. Creating energy at the level to lead to creation of the sun, the first seed, is very, very difficult. You have seen how long it takes this planet, this solar system, for 4.5 billion years to create only a handful of planets and a few more moons which are small. Then can you imagine how hard it has been to bring these, to lead to the creation of them? 4.5 billion years, and this mother has managed only 9 or 10 planets. Then can you imagine how long it's taken to get this sun made, let alone look at the moons, 4.5 billions, and the suns and the planet. And now imagine how important that seed is that can lead to and then creation of tangible existence. So your soul is this. You don't need to go through the process of billions of years. You become that sun, you become that soul. And that's the purpose of it. That's why I say, when you see the members of Universal Council, if they're clear and pure, they shine. They become that star. And when their soul leaves their physicality, they are it. Because they have already shunned and the bigger. So your soul becomes, and depending on how you've done what you've done in the cycle of life, a dust or a star. And when you're a star, you shine as shine on to the soul of the Creator. Mankind soon will understand. The universal community has a special structure to teach this. Don't tell me how I know. I used to teach there. Will viruses bring humanity to clear understanding of their origin? Maybe. Because man started life as a pack of energies. And then it became matter. This is a very funny one. I think I'll leave this to head of the Keshe Foundation, how we'll see it. Is she still awake? It says, do backpacker souls misbehave on planet Earth? Any of the two souls would like to talk?
Can the misbehavior be defined? What does it mean by misbehaving?
Become a human. That's a good enough misbehavior.
Well, you did say in the previous teachings that when they sit with us at the table, they eat with us. Therefore, they do go against certain rules of not taking from other beings.
Yeah.
So if this is considered misbehavior, that means, yes, in physicality, they act as humans. If
How would it feel if you get what we call backpackers, space backpackers, and sit on the table with you and don't eat? How would you feel? You done all the cooking.
Personally, it's like when you give without expecting to receive. If it's their decision that they do not want to participate in that act, then it's your pleasure to give them their wish that they don't feel bad for not doing that. And if you cooked, that's your joy to cook and you gave it, but don't expect to receive back praises or gratitude in the way that they force themselves to do something that's against their beliefs. This is why I was always saying that people got used to too much to get offended by things, and they do things just because they expect to obtain something, because it's their right to obtain, or because that's how it's normally in society to obtain. But when you do out of the pleasure of doing it, and just your intention is received, but don't force someone to step over their beliefs and their wishes just to please you and to satisfy you for that.
What about if they look as they eat, not to be shown? They're not human, but knowing the knowledge they have, they give that soul to the original soul of the Creator. Let's say when we slaughter a lamb and you cook it on the table, as the flesh is created by the soul, and the soul of the animal left at the time of the slaughter, as the men of universe are knowledgeable, pretending to eat, they add that to the soul of the physical, soul of the animal original, because they already have a link, they have the dress. In a way, on a pretense of eating, they return back to its origin, which is the way a lot of those who are here have chosen the path to do it. How do you feel? You don't force them, but you know them if they do, or they can tap into the energy of whatever you have on the table to return it, to add to the original soul, to elevate it from what it left behind. Sorry, you left this money on the table, that's yours. It's still your wealth. How does that feel?
That could be one justification for taking from that energy, from that soul.
We
But
never justify in the world of souls.
Has anyone asked that lamb if it wanted to be slaughtered? Because later on we will give you back to your soul.
We never done it up to now. It's the new knowledge we know we can do. Why do we need to slaughter it?
Exactly. So if that lamb did not give his soul or his body for that human to eat it, or to that being to eat it and benefit from it, then it's like taking and then, okay, I'll give you back because I took. That's a little bit around the corner.
But it's the way humanity has done for billions of years. It's taken
Yes, and
without permission.
as you said, that's why we went wrong, and that's why we are where we are right now.
So when we ask, permission cannot be refused because I need it. So if you ask for the food or the body of the lamb to be on the table because you need it, without knowingly the soul of your physicality needs it for it to exist. Otherwise, without it, you don't exist. There's not enough fields that confirm your existence. Where is Wang Lin? Are you somewhere in the background, Wang Lin? She's translating to
Hello.
Chinese.
Yes. Hello, Ms. Kesh.
How do you feel from your point of view?
Yeah, that's great because I read a lot of books and I know even in Dubai, a lot of the masters, they eat everything in this way. They elevate the soul of everything they eat because I still remember I read a book, the teacher, he said like when you eat veggie or eat a fruit, you eat everything including the seeds, because he said the soul create that, it's a full part. If you eat all of them and then you transfer all the energy of that that fruit and you leave it, and next time that energy can become a part of a man or a human being or something like that. And then, as what you explained, that energy don't need to become the matter, to become the fruit again, to go through thousand years or millions of years to become part of an animal, to become part of a human. So I think this is a even the traditional Buddha teaching. When people eat food, they have the like the communicating. They show they're thankful for everything what they take, and they think how these things are grown, and even they use something. How many people had like done the work to make these things to be put in front of you, and then to have the gratitude for everything what he consumed, and then that will bring the very beautiful feeling and boast for these things being consumed.
Have you ever had a guilty feeling that I made somebody to do wrong or commit a crime?
Actually, if you go wrong, be limited in some religion teaching, then they said you were born as a guilty, and then they said you do this wrong, you will guilty that, do that wrong, you're guilty for that. Yeah, at the beginning, I think I was entrapped in that kind of things, but now I I I was more jumping out from that, because it's like if you think in another way, just as what you said, because he need millions of years to elevate the energy to become a more higher order. If I take it, if I have the best wish, I take that and I give it back, and then you don't be like guilty because you do things to help them. But one thing is like for some teaching, I think maybe it's wrong. They said, oh, if you kill them, you will go to hell, and you consume them, you will go to hell. That's kind of like a scary or afraid feeling they want to bring to you. So for my understanding now, it's like if all the teaching bring you peace and happiness, I think that could be the good one. But if something make you very scary, I will doubting about that if that is true, because then why we come here, and why we and how we live in this physic body, how we make living. what's the reason, meaning for that? Is that we come here for suffer, or is we come here for to be guilty? I think we are all free souls. We come here, as you said, to enjoy the life in the physical body, and then we cannot use that kind of concepts to limit us. It's another, as what you said, the physical body can prison our soul, but that kind of teaching or that kind of concepts also can prison our soul. How we can get the really freedom, release our soul, and to be living a happy life and serve all the beings here.
I want to teach you something interesting. If this is your soul, and if this is your brain, I'm not a good drawer. And if this is the direct, what I call the soul of physicality coming in a very, very thin way. There's something interesting. If you look, there's not that much brain, blood vessels here. You have all inside and everywhere. So it doesn't take much to free this guy here. In the teachings up to now, we always said, last week, try to elevate this that it connects with this. And in all the teachings, we always said, if we can increase the power of the soul of the physicality, that it go beyond the boundary, then you cover the physicality. Now that you know a way, hopefully, that you can feed this, that this can lead to this elevation, isn't the way to don't worry about this guy here, is start using this guy here, that in work will go that way. Be it Corona is created by this, be it the cancer created by this, the embodiment of totality will bring balance as it has to be, and there'll be no cancer, nothing. So what I'm trying to explain is, if you learned or understood what I said, and understood this, you should have learned a way, understand the way, that by elevating means asking this guy, I would like have you, I like to feed you, I give everything I have. You create the soul feeds the physicality because he has to be all the time. Then you live in a dimension of the soul energy, but physical manifestation appearance. That the soul feeds the physicality, and so physicality doesn't need to kill. And I said, this I have taught to Ella in the past few days. Communication to the soul. Once you understand it, then will bring the other side, and mankind will be from free of killing. But they are positioned in two positions opposite on this planet. So their thoughts will come to cast the oath. And I said to both of them, never talk to each other. Even they both run a strict operation on the operation of the Keshe Foundation, one in China and one in Europe. I've asked them and I made sure, and they kept to their word. They don't communicate with each other. because gradually the soul will take over. You've seen what the team of Wang Lin has done in China, especially with this. I wish for the system I want. They find it. And you see how it comes to Europe and gets beautifully presented by Ella. That they know what they need be to the people who they work through their souls. Make gradually everything a step by step possible. I wanted to reach the man at a point of peace. I needed a pillow. The team of Wang Lin, because she understands the wish, puts it together. And then we make it. The pillow, the light, the environment. Don't need to talk. And gradually comes to the point that with their wish and the way it works, one feeds from the other. I have made a perfect system for this. And it'll work. And it's working. And you will start seeing the changes. These two souls are blessed. And then in time you will understand. Why ask this question and it's appeared here? What do you feel? I had that feeling, but I could not say much. I had to watch a man to commit a crime, but that was his choice. But I could not do much because I gave from my soul to him. And that elevation caused him a lot of problem. There's a guy called Charles in Chinese Keshe Foundation. He translates before I speak. Am I correct, Wang Lin? He's done that for years. Now you do his job.
Yes, before me, Charles translate for a couple years.
And Charles moved into not eating. And he went through for 7 months of living through the Ganges waters, the way he did it. And it was amazing when you met the man. He came to to Ghana, met him there. And it was amazing. Sometimes I was thinking and he was talking my thinking. And when he was sitting at the table with me, and I said, Charles, you said you don't eat. You just drink the water and you get everything you need. He said, Mr. Keshe, I feel ashamed not to eating in front of you. I just want to take some fruit. I don't eat much, just to be part of. And it was a guilty feeling. And I said, you don't need to, but he said, no, I want to. And he just eats very little apple water fruit. And we go traditionally with the Keshe Foundation team to restaurants for dinner. And he sits there and he takes a little bit of fruit just to be part of. And this goes back to what I put to Ella. When we have people of universe on our table, they pretend to be part of. They sacrifice their pleasures for you, not to be disappointed at what the effort you put in. And in so many ways, mankind has already entered our life. And we need to understand how not to eat, because some Chinese have already entered that position on the Keshe Foundation. And the next step is, would we create the next systems to come that by positioning it around the house or in the city, we stop consuming. And would this be a part of not absorbing what we don't need, bacteria, viruses and the rest. Now, how do you feel? Do you still want to feed people who are on the table and they are not from us human beings, or not from you human beings, if I put it the correct way? How do you feel, ladies? If somebody turns up on your table and you put all the time to cook and you find out he's from another planet I didn't know, would you ask the rest of the people on the table not to eat, to respect him? Or you tell him, oh, just sit there, I'll put something in front of you to read. Read our souls. How would that ring with you, Ella? You're going to live this life and say, God, he said it in that teaching, now it's in front of me, how I'm going to behave.
I would let that person to make its choice, and I would ask how to learn to live by its way instead of living by our way.
Wang Lin, how will we do it? I'm the alien and you two have cooked and I don't touch.
Yeah, maybe I prefer to drink some juice to be polite, to be enjoying with us. But you know, in China, we have a lot of like this story, like these people, they don't need to eat. Even I have met two actually. One knowledge seeker, he said he didn't eat for 10 years. Another one, he also don't want to eat, but when we go out for dinner, he still eat a little bit with us. But he said actually eat is a kind of a burden for him. So yeah, but I prefer to be that. You see, if we don't need to eat, we're saving a lot of money for cooking and wash a lot of things. So we have a lot of more free time. We can do a lot of things. And yeah, sometimes because before I'm vegetarian for 6 years, so sometimes it's a little bit difficult to explain people, oh, why you don't eat meat, why you this, why you that, blah blah blah. And people think like you are a little bit strange, you are not one part of them. Maybe you will have that feeling. Yeah, and you even I cause problem for my family. So and because I found that I don't eat because that kind of scary things, so I give up. I say no, it should be like a kind of a free choice. It's not because of you are afraid of something. And I eat that again. But if I have a choice not to eat, definitely I will choose that.
What would you do that if your husband is in front of you and he says, no, I don't become a vegetarian, I become like man from Mars, I don't want to eat. I cooked for you, I made everything that you should have told me before you come.
Oh, I don't think I got married to him that fast. I should know what he eat first.
No, if he changes suddenly in the middle, many couples suddenly become vegetarian after they're married.
Yes, that is the problem I bring to my ex-husband. Suddenly he feel I totally changed, became somebody he don't know. That's the problem I bring to him. I'm sorry for that. But that's a kind of experience. It's like I don't know, it's like my soul just want to experience a lot of things and have more understanding of everything.
Now we start seeing people who turn up on our dinner tables and they don't eat because they learn to feed their souls.
Yeah,
Or
I would like to join one of them.
It is a strange way that we gradually will come to this, that we go to each other's home. We don't go to put the wife or the husband or the family on the burden of cooking for us, but we go for the pleasure of sitting around the table, not necessarily food. You have these UFOs rotating around the house, or a ball is running somewhere, that it feeds us. And we speak about the taste of, would you like, let's say, cheese, and your emotion of the cheese and their emotion of the cheese. And you can talk about, that was a very nice cheese. It was tasty because what I tasted was what I wanted, and the elaboration of it. It'll be very interesting what and how our next generation will talk about us. We spend so much time in killing and cooking and then cleaning, where in fact now they can do that all by thinking to this. Would it be the time when a man passes a sheep and says, can I have some of your soul, or would you please me, but I don't want to do anything? And he says, yes, this is what it tastes. Would you like my ribs? Taste something else, you can have a liver. You don't kill it, but it gives you to you from the energy of its field. Would mankind come to that point to satisfy his physical needs in the physical dimension of this planet? The beauty of it is, these are not talks. Soon mankind will reach this point. You sleep on the pillow, you breathe the air, you breathe the air outside, and gradually it'll come to be fed at every angle and point. And would we come to the point that we love to live and we don't live to love? And how are we going to push this? How are we going to bring it in? It's the job of people like us, immaculately addressing and putting everything in position, step by step. The easy job for me is I'm not alone anymore. I have two ladies who do most of the work in the physical dimension to make sure that the changes can be brought in as fast as possible. The next step, the next step. Thank you very much, both of you. Thank you very much for all the time and life you put into this.
That's our pleasure. And recently I'm talking to people I have a wish. I want 7 billion, or even all being of a planet can have one of our products. I know that the GANS products we deliver, I know that in one day they will join together. And so we are looking forward for that day.
The beauty of it is, the man who runs our gas production has the soul of the man from space, peacefulness and joy. He is one of the most gorgeous men you ever lie your eyes on. And he's so gentle. And when he produces these gases, the systems, he carries that into his what goes out of it. His voice drives you crazy from kindness, and his behavior, wish you all the men on this planet were like him. It's an amazing soul. Shaojin puts a lot, and it's all with love and laughter and joy. And now you understand, when you receive these things, comes with a lot of love and care. In so many ways, he is the soul of the universe, feeding to bring everything in together. My God, Jackie Douglas has a lot to say, doesn't she? Akbar Echo says, is the unit, enhancement unit, a portal to travel from one unit to another? Every position on this planet can become a way and access to travel to another. This word portal should not exist in the vocabulary because it gives the wrong information. It's the wrong intentional emotion. And in so many ways, you should be able, as I said many times before, if this is your soul and has access to whatever in the universe, from your grandfather to the man on the moon and the man in the other universes, whatever, which you are not aware of. When you wish to be with your mother, this is your access to see, know the strength. Is that your portal, or is that your line of fields, strength, connection? Portal has no meaning. It's made up of a man who never understood. They still think there is a hole and there is a port for it to go. And now we understand more. We have to understand these, how to access these, what the strengths bring that. And it comes from the understanding of work of the communication of the man with his soul. You don't wish, you feel. And you'll find out, if you work that way, emotion of the man has no control over it. Physicality will deliver, but will transfer back the emotion of what that delivery did. And gradually, the physicality becomes part of the soul of the man to become one. It's very interesting. It's from Doug MacDonald. He says, as Mr. Keshe is a messenger of the Creator, my vision that I and all souls everywhere become the same. We are the Creator. We don't need messengers. But in a way, you are all connected. And through it, you have no vision, but you're part of. And that's the beauty of it. The blindness to see is due to the conduct of man. Wanting to hear the soul, to see the soul, you have to understand what blocks you from it. And as long as you're attached, you cannot see the soul. Because it's very much, as I said, you have a ship leaving the dock and in full blast, but it's going nowhere because you forgot to take one of the anchor lines off the port. You took everything else off, but you hold on. Nobody has taken the last post out. You have full blasting, but you're going nowhere. That detachment, that final detachment, elevates the soul of the man to see itself, to become aware of its motion. And as I said very recently, till you don't detach, you don't achieve. And the beauty of it is, will let you love so much that love brings the detachment. You know, when you have a fat on your shirt, how do you clean it? With a soap, which itself is made of fat itself. So it's the only way man can be handled. And this is apparently the only way the man understands things. That's a nice one. John Bevan says, how do you envision the elimination of the trash on the planet? Can this be facilitated via our spaceship, like transmuting it like a crop circle? If we understand the totality of the knowledge, and we understand that whatever you call trash, what we call rubbish, leftover waste, or whatever name you put on it, they all have a physical dimension. All have a physical. And as the writing of Baha'u'llah says, even a stone has a soul. Why don't you ask the soul of the trash what it's made of? You're causing us problem. Can we have you in someone else or in another form? And in so many ways, do we need to find the strength of the soul of the plastic and the rest that in conversion and understanding will change? We go around and says, be peaceful. Can we have it back? Be peaceful. In a way, we can do it very easily, but what we do and what I keep on warning governments about these things, and even in part of the message last week to the young lady, is we have created so much concentration of so much, and if we try to revert them back to what they came originally of as a material or a matter, there's so much of them that is this planet ready to take back which we put together because it has no facility for it. If we increase all the, or we change all the plastics which are on the oceans and what we claim that we need to do something about it. Now that we understand feel the strength between the atom bondage and we can clearly produce it, what are we going to do with all those sudden release of hydrogen and nitrogen and oxygen and anything else which is in these combinations? Are we really ready to clean up? Are we really at a point that, or we prefer it to be dumped somewhere else and let it be their problem till we sort our problem? If any of you have traveled or are aware of, is this, as John says, dumping our rice is taking it somewhere else. If you drive and you're so unlucky, or if you watch in the ships, the EU spends billions a year, billions of dollars, to transport the animal waste from Europe into Russia. One of the reasons European nations are obedient to Russia is that if Russia refuses to take just the animal waste from the West, you can imagine there is nowhere in the West you can live in Europe. The stench will kill you. Millions and millions of tons of this is shipped right across into Russia and is spread on the grounds and everywhere else. And I call it, excuse my French, shit business is a very lucrative business for Russians. And Europeans cannot live with it, so they export it. All the other countries have banned it. Russia is still somebody who takes some, and it's a billion operation. What are we going to do with these waste if the Russians say no? Do we have the knowledge to transfer them? But how much nitrogen and oxygen we're going to add to the atmosphere of this planet that the breathing becomes impossibilities because it's too much oxygen. The reality is we cannot export our rubbish into space and release it. It's not allowed. We cannot do that. Finding another dumping area is not a mafia work with the radioactive material getting paid for and just dumping in the sea next to Italy. And you're not allowed to mess up somebody else's back door because you made it. These are part of the work of Universal Council, finding a solution for these problems and put it in action to be done. The members of Universal Council, we have given you everything. You have a KFSSI, you have the researchers link up through the setup we set up with universities around the world and promote research and development for peace and conversion and environment. This is what you're going to be stuck with now that we've given you the peace. You have to show a way that the nations follow. You got to lead, and through the souls. And this is part of your job. It's not, you have no voting rights, so whatever you say is by majority of people present in your meetings. There is no voting that nobody can veto. And so when you send letters like this or the others, it comes from the soul of collective totality. Because even those who are present and keep quiet, which is very traditional, if you attend any of the Universal Council members, there are 15 of them, 20 of them sometimes, and only 2 or 3 people talk. The rest are there because they've been told to be in a meeting. They have not learned that their souls can make decisions and the souls can put, and let the verbal comes from whoever, but they have to be there to change the course. Not there to be as, I'm here till I told when I can talk. In Universal Council, there is no leadership. So somebody has to take the chair of talk and discussion. As they had a meeting yesterday, something happened. Then one of the members of Universal Council used her private Zoom chat for them to come. And she wrote, it's big party at home here, come over. All the Universal Council members are here in her room. She made a chat room. And that's how it should be. And so learn before you start cleaning up, what does this cleaning up will lead for mankind? There is a beautiful way to clean, will come with the knowledge. The only way, the only practical way that mankind can clean his waste and without damaging more is understanding of the technology of the conversion into a higher healed fields. What does this mean? It's very simple. You want to get rid of all these rubbish. If you burn them, you poison If you add them to the atmosphere, you create a new condition. We saw how in Wuhan city, burying and what you call burning so many souls, and humanity created its own problem. It's the way we are exposed, and I explained even in the last letter and talk, that we stop the mining. The only solution mankind has with the rubbish is created, without damaging the space, without damaging the environment of this planet, is to learn to add all your rubbish into the magma of this planet. You have no other option. And you have no other rights. You got to understand, everything you see on the surface, within, whatever you walked on or whatever you have mined out, comes to the structure of the magma by boiling up. Mankind, the only solution to clean is to transfer the material to every dimension without damaging the totality of it into the center core of the planet as part of the plasma or as a magma in the matter state. You bury it, the mess you created, without damaging more. The technology is there. The technology, read the paper, interfusion. The knowledge is fully written. It's for you to understand. Then, when John asks what we're going to do with all the rubbish, very simple. We transfer it back, we add it to the magma, and it'll come out totally green. It takes a few billion years, you don't need it anyway. Any other conversion in the mass amount mankind has created will create a massive problem for everything from the man's lung, body, the environment of this planet, and beyond. Bury it back, not in the soil, into the magma. And you can do it, the knowledge is there. Don't forget, in the fingerprint of that matter coming from the depths of the universe or earth, there is a common denominator. That's the one you have to add to. So I don't think there's that much problem if we understand the way our waste has been created. Ike has put something in. It says, Mr. Keshe, can you explain the concept of purgatory in a universal knowledge? Rick, would you like to put that what it means in English language?
What is the phrase again, Mr. Keshe?
Read his message, 1148. It's a very typical English word. And we have people from different nationalities, they have to understand what it means.
$11.48. I don't. He's already answered.
Rick, you can check Telegram. The
It
question was posted there.
says, if you don't,
It's not in my chat. Okay. I see it now in the chat, but not in the Q&A. Can you explain the concept of purgatory in the universal? So I'll bring that up in Wikipedia. Is
yeah,
that okay?
yeah, it's a religious word.
Okay, just a second.
It comes from the understanding of purging, cleaning, in a way. It's part of the understanding of the Christianity in suffering. And they've created this condition in the true essence of it. It's part of lament. But with the knowledge you have today, do you think such a position exists? What do you know about the soul? Where, with what we understand now, we elevate the soul. There is no need for that purification and what we call going through the pain of it. That to be purified. Would you like to read it?
Okay. Let's see what we have here. Okay, purgatory. Let's see, it comes from the Latin purgatorium by way of Anglo-Norman and Old French. Is, according to the belief of some Christians, mostly Catholics, an intermediate state after physical death for expiratory purification. There is disagreement among Christians whether such a state exists. Some forms of Western Christianity, particularly within Protestantism, deny its existence. Other strands of Western Christianity see purgatory as a place, perhaps filled with fire. Some concepts of Gehenna in Judaism are similar to that of purgatory. The word purgatory has come to refer also to a wide range of historical and modern conceptions of postmodern suffering short of everlasting damnation, and is used in a non-specific sense to mean any place or condition of suffering or torment, especially one that is temporary. The Catholic Church holds that, quote, all that die in God's grace and friendship, but still imperfectly purified, unquote, undergo the process of purification, which the Church calls purgatory, quote, so as to achieve the holiness necessary to enter the joy of heaven, unquote. It bases its teaching also on the practice of praying for the dead, in use within the church ever since the church began, and mentioned in the Deuterocanonical Book 2 Mac 12:46. According to Jacques Legoff, the conception of purgatory as a physical place came into existence in Western Europe towards the end of the 12th century. According to him, the conception involves the idea of a purgatorial fire, which he suggests is expiatory and purifying not
Yeah, but does it
punitive.
exist, this position? We know it doesn't. But how can you explain it doesn't exist? It's a made up.
Well, I wonder, Mr. Kesh, this idea of fire seems to come up quite a bit. And
Purging, it comes from purge, it comes from punishment.
well, what about the idea could fire be likened to the rays that come from the source, say, that might be a little bit strong for the physicality, let's say, and it's part of the stripping off of that?
Yeah, let's pull in the two ladies, see what they say.
Okay.
Don't forget, they say what the root of every sin. So let's see what they think. Ladies, are you hiding? Any comments?
Hello?
Yes.
I think maybe Ella want to talk first. But it's interesting, like same thing, all the religion, they all have this part. In in Buddhism, but Buddhism we have different teaching also. Because we also talk about incarnation, reincarnation. And we talk about if you do bad things and you go to hell, and we have all kinds of description, like 18 levels of different hell. They have fire, they have even like they pull out your tongue if you lying too much, and they have like these insects eat you, and
Is
they
that
have
in Buddhism?
yeah, in the Buddhism books they have a lot of things like that. But I think that is not the real essence that Buddhism want to tell us, because in the history of the humanity, a lot of book was written, and then nobody know what is really come out from the original meaning of Buddha. So yeah, but I prefer something, yeah, about the like the more like Hinayana Buddhism, like the more talking about the essence of the soul level, not this kind of karma and the effects, cause and effects karma. And yeah, but and I when I get to learn the Akashi, I have totally changed my concept about this karma, about this thing, about this like what you call the suffering in the hell, because I feel that that word is very wisdom, more wisdom than to how to explain this. They say like all the karma is because of the judgment are not being transferred by yourself. So actually, that is not real. You cannot say like, oh, I in the past life I do wrong to him, so this life I have to.
Can I put it different way
Yeah.
to both of you, because you're the mothers of the future. You're those who create. What would you teach to your children about this? Would you put the fear of God into them? Or how would you explain to your children, if you're creating a new generation and you're aware of the transformation of the life in the dimension of the soul to physicality, what would you teach your souls?
That's easy. You don't need to wait to die to reach to a purgatory. You are living the purgatory, because every act you do, it's immediately seen in the soul. So you give to the soul from where you stole, because you stole if you stole it in the life. So don't do it. Otherwise,
Why
you
do
will be
we
living
believe
it.
in stealing? Why do we have to steal? Why do we still believe in the stealing?
We don't believe in stealing. We live the stealing currently. We just need to teach them how not to steal, that they don't need to reach to such a.
How do you teach them not to steal? How do you explain to your child standing in front of you? Do you tell them it's wrong, or do you teach him, you ask your soul, that the soul decides if there's a need for that, for you to elevate your soul or receive what you want? How do you
How,
teach a new generation with the knowledge we have?
how can you teach someone if you don't teach yourself first? If you don't know it yourself first, how can you teach without practicing?
You to have access to it. How would you teach the rest of humanity in your teachings? You're the guidelines. How do you teach? This is what I said in very recent teachings, in private teachings. We are never taught how to become parents. We are never taught how to teach souls. And the guidelines, the teaching comes from you two souls. You're there to do. How would you elevate? How do you explain the souls that they change? We need to do it. We have as I said, sex education. We have A and B education, but we don't have a soul education. We don't have an emotion education. And you two there to set this scene. And most probably in what you said, the Universal Council finds a way to deliver. But how do you say it? How would you teach your future children from where you sit now? What do you understand now? Both of you. I know you speak of without practice or don't have to know. This is the perfect because you have none, you can set a new set. It's inevitable you two gonna have children, so how are you gonna teach it? How you create a new generation that by example the other mothers follow. What is your, what I call, blank canvas to draw? Where do you start? Waiting.
I think if you do wrong to others, then you steal from your soul. Then you have to be a balance.
How do you know you stole it?
Yeah, you get something not belong.
No, why don't we forget about this word in vocabulary? Doesn't exist in the universe.
Okay.
Why don't we learn what I call, it's just don't becoming member part of universal community doesn't mean just seeing, shaking hand and hello. It's learning the culture, it's learning their ethos, understanding their ethos. The way we show them to love, and there's no place better on earth to show loving to the creatures of universe. We've got to learn from them. How would they do? How do they do? We have to understand it. Isn't it the way to ask from the soul, I want this, and let it be given? You never mention, you never teach stealing. It's like you never teach killing. Then there is no crime. Then there is no point of judgment because you never stole to be judged, that you knew it to be purified or purgatory done for you to go to the next step. Isn't the mankind has to start learning it's a second nature to work through his soul? Why are we sending a letter knowing that the guy is saying no, where I want it, I need it, I want a world peace, I want to get rid of the corona? And the answer will be yes, because it's my soul asking you. Do you want your soul to suffer your physicality if it's the same as mine or my next door neighbor? We got to learn to ask, to live through our soul, through understanding of it. Theology and religion came because man never understood this part. Then the abuse came with it. Isn't the way to teach the child to ask through your soul, or by verb, or by a voice, or by features? And don't wait to expect if it's yours, it'll come to you, but it come to you because you had a feel of needing it. Doesn't matter what it is. We're too physical. We wait, we ask for a computer. I asked for it, that was good, but it didn't come. Do I need a computer game to learn all the wrong things which is on it? Even it gives me pleasure. Or is it as a parent's wish that if it's part of his progress of his soul to understand, maybe I have to understand that. We don't become a walking prayer and a hope and wish, but we understand when it's needed and the time, and we set the scene long term what is there to be. It's very hard to be a father and let the children grow without. You're the mothers. How would you teach the man to change? I think it's a good point to remember that we'll come back to these discussions. As I said to knowledge seekers before, and gradually we turn these teachings in presence of the both souls, that collectively we start teaching from the point of view of the mothers, of the creators, that we come to a balanced understanding. And in so many ways, we start laying out the structure of the knowledge to come in a new way. As we said, we became post-corona, we came post-war. Now we have to teach that no man goes back to the war. And these teachings, to create a peaceful man, comes directly from the soul of the creator of the soul, which are the mothers. And it needs to be done that way. And as I said, gradually, we try, as we said in the schools, they don't teach about the soul, about the emotion, about how to be a mother or father. Maybe through this way, knowing that these teachings are not for now and a few thousand, a million, listen, they stay as a corner teachings for the future of humanity. The way we refer to the first medical teachings, 48 of them, as a cornerstone of the medical teaching, done with Dr. Ilya Kostova. These teachings here with these two souls as the mothers to become, because it's pure. They have never felt the love or the hate, or they had to make a difference between the children of this and that, because the soul of their own child will have that. Maybe we start with pure soul, and maybe we come to understand more. Maybe through it, we change our soul, our vision. These are not open discussion tables. This is the way the humanity is going to live. And as I said, and if you go back to the teachings from very first teaching, the cornerstone of every family is a woman. And in that way, if we teach our women the correct way to bring up children, we have saved humanity from wars, prisons, courts, and the police, and the rest of it. And in a way, we show them a way to live what I call the universal way, that they can have whatever they need, even is beyond their imagination. But if it's their soul think and ask, will receive. We teach, but teachings from now on become very much not to what we see on the screen and the punishment. It comes to the point that we never do wrong to be punished for, because we learn a new way. And we need the mothers to teach us the new way. And in so many ways, we don't become any more prophets or religious leaders. We come collectively to become part of the totality with the correct conduct. And we run these, as you have seen in the past few weeks, on open discussion like American Talk or the Soul Teaching or the One Planet, One Nation. And we bring most of the teaching on Thursdays, that there is a point of reference, point of understanding, and a point of maturity for the soul of the man. It is easier when the knowledge brought by two than one to become totally one. And this is what this changes. That we see, understand different ways of totality. And somewhere in between sits the way the universe works. Somewhere sits the correct conduct. Somewhere sits to become part of. And in so many ways, they become reflected in the papers and understanding of the. We cannot send our children with a book, a Bible, like every hotel room in Europe has a Bible in it. Are we going to send all these to Mars, to Moon, and give to every man we see across this universe? Or shall we carry the Bible and put it next to Christ and says, this is not what I wrote? That'll be a big embarrassment. As I said to a Catholic priest, I said, if I bring those you wrote in here and what you read here, bring the owners, you call it Paul or whatever, and let him tell you, did he write this or did he mean this? Or is it what is made up to control the soul of the man? The cornerstone of every correct civilization is the mother, the creator of the civilization. And if mankind learns this, mankind moves in the right direction. And this is why we put two women, that between the two, there's always correct outcome, the correct justice outcome for man to be correct in the space of the universe. We create a new race, a peaceful race, a race that the universe wants to be of, to be part of, to be connected with. And in so many ways, when you add the love which mankind has, and you see through the heart of a woman, is one of the best ways to start this race, new life. as I said in the teachings before, it's not that the people come from other part of this creation to be here to show the knowledge of physicality. Man has a knowledge of love, which the whole universe envies, the way mankind loves and devotes for that emotion which does not exist in other creatures. They come here to learn. It's like you take a souvenir when you go to somewhere, they want to take a souvenir of what it means to love. How do you package it as an emotion? Douglas writes, we teach to our children the simple truth of the direct connection between the soul of the man and the creator, as it is done in the universe. If we ask directly, we shall receive what is needed. This is exactly what I always say. I ask and is needed, I receive, because I learn not to ask if it's not needed. And because of that, you always receive. And this is why in my teachings I always say, I'll get what I ask and never fail. Shall we call it the day? It's nearly 1 o'clock. And the two ladies, would you like to tell us anything before we go? Or shall we call upon your souls? Would you like to share some? Silence.
Yes, thank you. This is very enlightened words both you and Douglas bring to me. And I think I understand that now. In Chinese, we had a words. We say the Bodhisattva is afraid of the cause, and the normal people, they are afraid of the result. So that means like they sense, they always before they do wrong, they know that. So they're forbidden to do wrong, to afraid of the result. So and I think I learned that if what do you say, like if I don't need, I don't ask, or if what I need is always for the ultimate God, for all the oneness benefit, I mean to benefit all of us, then I ask, and no harm to nobody, and I give that wish to the creator and try and to say what I can get from that.
You said Bodhisattva. Can you explain to us what it is?
Yeah, Bodhisattva. I think it's a word from a Buddhist. That means Bodhisattva is a enlightenment human or creature. But he himself, she or himself enlightenment, and also he enlightenment others. So that's we call it a Bodhisattva.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything from other soul? It is interesting. Is there anything you want to say, or we keep silence?
It's just a lot to process, so nothing at the moment. Thank you.
You will see two contrast souls, and it's amazing how two are and how deep thinkers they are, and they always look at one dimension of physicality and dimension of the soul, and a combination of the two. I don't think we could bring any better combination than these two for mankind to find a new way to live the correct way, and in a way, a balanced way. Thank you very much for today. And I think we'll leave it to that. We, so many ways. I have one wish, and my wish is very open because I know the ultimate what will bring for mankind. And maybe, you know, putting it in an open way will carry more with all of us with it. I have one wish, and that's an elevation of the soul of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, that his soul brings that bridge between knowledge and theology and religion, where we take in the knowledge to Iran, and he brings the soul of religions to become one. And as we see it, there could be no better soul than the soul of His Eminence, where man of knowledge and religion sits in one and understands in bringing the two together as one will bring the ultimate change for humanity. And when one religious leader brings that in, the rest will follow, and mankind will walk the path of peace. Maybe that's why we went to Iran. And maybe that's why the technology will emerge from Iran, where the science and religion become one. And I know this is a very narrow window, as he has a very old age in his package. And before his departure, will bring that ultimate goal of merging the science and religion to become one, that mankind finds peace and with it enters the universal community. If it comes outside religious circle, will become white. If it comes within, will create peace. And there is no wish more than the elevation of the soul of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran to take that last step before his departure, to bring the religions and science that becomes one, that will reach the dimension of interaction and opening of this planet with a new science and technology in the safe hand of the nation of Iran with their soul. A peaceful nation and deep thinkers and knowledgeable. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that lovely vision, Mr. Keshe. Okay, I believe that wraps it up for the 332nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, June 11th, 2020. Are there any other announcements we have to make? There is the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace on Tuesday coming up next week. And of course, we have our private teachings tomorrow as well. Okay, thanks everyone for attending today's workshop. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, for answering all the questions that were provided before the workshop today.
In a way, we can go out with seeing these not as products, but as a way of bringing what we are hoping for. Maybe when the soul is there, as I said, when you send a message, send your souls in it with everything we put together as these products is part of that. And when I look at that speaker rotating, I said, this is what I wanted. When they listen to the teaching and it has the soul presence with them, will bring that change. And in so many ways, we have to understand the totality. And I hope mankind will take that step. And my biggest wish is to end with all wars. As I said, we'll see the merger of science and religion at this point. Thank you.